Humans, I am your herald of the god. Look at it. You look at it. Now look at me. And welcome back to the Culture Guys channel with your boy Mike. So, I was sitting around. Well, actually, I wasn't sitting around. I was doing some shit. And I got to thinking, man. So this is kind of old news for real. But DeWanda Wise says that she wants to play Storm if she ever got a chance to be in the MCU. And it got me thinking about some shit for real. Because if you don't know, well, I'm sorry, if you've been living under a rock, the X-Men had a, it's crazy. The X-Men have been through a lot of weird shit over the years, man. And I don't know what this X-Men, Marvel, when they unite together in the same universe, what that's gonna look like. But with DeWanda, if you don't know, she played in Imaginary. I had to look it up because I know for sure she played in She's Gotta Have It, the series on Netflix, because I watched that when it first, as soon as it aired, man, I was on it. But she's been in a lot of shit. She was in, Three Women. She was in Someone Great, Fatherhood with Kevin Hart. I mean, no, that's not Kevin Hart. I'm tripping. Yeah, that's Kevin Hart. But gorgeous girl. But it got me thinking about some shit. It got me thinking about X-Men and where we are now and what happened. You know what I'm saying? But not only that, but it got me thinking about Storm. Like, when I came across the article, I was like, yo, I've been thinking, could you imagine a Storm movie? No one has ever, I've not heard whispers or rumors or anything. The closest we had to Storm getting her own movie, which I think will be incredible. You know what I'm saying? Black actress having her own superhero movie. We get to highlight a black superhero, which we don't get to do that often. You know what I'm saying? It's few and far between if you go from, Spawn to Blade to now. You know what I'm saying? We got the Black Panther, and that was the biggest one, which shows it can be done. And Wakanda took place in Africa. You know what I'm saying? So, but she was, DeWanda was also in Jurassic World too. But we need a Storm movie. That's what it got me thinking about this shit. Of all I was sitting there thinking about like what other superheroes, just in general, not black, not necessarily black, that deserve their own movie, and the movie would actually be really good. I think if they really put their time and the writing was good and the actors were good, even if they didn't have a big setup for it, if it just came out of nowhere, Storm would be incredible. If you know the story of Storm, Aurora Monroe is her real name in the comics. It's an incredible story. It's a love story. Actually, there's a couple of love stories you could do tied into it. Not that that's necessary. I think a Storm origin story would be great. But that brings me to my next point. X-Men, I don't know if y'all remember, but so X-Men, when they started doing their thing back in like the early 2000s, they had like 3 or 4 movies. And then they just out the blue did an X-Men Origins. And it was called X-Men Origins Wolverine. And it was supposed to be the backstory of Wolverine, kind of a setup type of series, it seemed like, for all the X-Men in the X-Men universe. You know what I'm saying? So, and I feel like this was before the Avengers did their team up. They were doing the pre-Avengers team up thing with the X-Men. And they started with Wolverine because they knew he was the biggest draw, Wolverine's like the Batman of the fucking X-Men universe before, the Avengers, and all this whole, they're going to be tied in together. X-Men was the draw. Wolverine was the draw for the X-Men alone. Anyway, but it got me thinking, I was like, well, why the fuck did they stop doing it? Like, they did X-Men Origins Wolverine, and then they just went right back to the X-Men franchise. And actually, X-Men Origins was terrible. It was not that good. It was, If you were a kid, it was dope. If you were above 10 years old, man, nah, she was trash. And then you know that Wolverine was their cash cow because they went on and did 2 or 3 movies later. They did a Wolverine solo movie. It wasn't even at Origins at that point. It was just Wolverine, the solo movie. And then they did a couple of movies later down the line, they did Logan. So they did like 3 solo Wolverine movies. But it got me thinking that X-Men need to go back doing that for real. I think if they gave us these standalone movies the way they did Iron Man, the way they did, the Hulk, the way they did, where they didn't do Black Widow, Captain America, and then, do the team up movie thing again, I think that would be dope. And since we're starting over, it'll be a fresh start. Now, got me thinking also, who could play Storm? Now, I think having DeWanda Wise as Storm is a great pick, especially knowing that she wants to play Storm, because I want an actor that is going to play the part of these characters that gives a fuck. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of these actors only say, oh shit, it's Marvel, it's Disney's attached to it, it's a big paycheck, cool, let's do it. You know what I'm saying? But it looks a lot better when the person is actually invested in the character. I did not like Halle Berry as Storm, but we got used to her, over time. But the corny one-liners, which is not her fault because the writing is not hers. She's in charge of the acting. Someone else is in charge of the writing. I didn't really like it. But DeWanda Wise, I think, would be a perfect Storm. I mean, she's got the look, she's got the eye, the color, the light colored eyes and all that already. So it's a go, you know what I'm saying? But I was looking and thinking, like, who else could play Storm? Now, y'all remember, like, back in the early 2000s, when X-Men first came out, everybody was like, yo, Angela Bassett would have been perfect. You know what I'm saying? But Angela Bassett is like running on almost 70 years old at this point. So we can't do Angela Bassett. You know what I'm saying? We don't want to get out there and break her hip or some shit like that. But Angela Bassett, by the way, is gorgeous and looks amazing at 60 something years old, by the way. So that's not a shot to Angela. We just needed her to go ahead. She's done her thing. Let her go ahead and sit down and rest. Waiting to exhale. I got my waiting to exhale. We good. You know what I'm saying? Yes, I watched Waiting to Exhale. It's a dope ass movie. Yetide Badaki, and I hope I'm saying that right. I think she would be dope. You know what I'm saying? She is of, I believe, Nigerian heritage. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I know she is an actress that she's got some acting chops. You know what I'm saying? And I think she would be dope. That's someone I saw being kind of swirled around in the rumor mill. And Yaya DaCosta was another one. Now, whether they would be interested in doing it and whether they even know anything about the lore, the characters, or follow comic books, that remains to be seen. And that's not necessarily like something that has to be like a criteria, but it always looks better on screen when you know these characters are invested in the characters. Unlike Halle Berry. I don't know, maybe Halle was. I just, she's a gorgeous girl, but that role just didn't look right with her. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, but both of those girls, Yetide and Yaya, they're both 42 and 43 years old. Not that they still couldn't play them, but I think maybe the X-Men might be going for, or Marvel and them going to go for a younger X-Men team up. Who knows? Maybe. I don't know. But these were some thoughts that had swirled around when I saw that DeWanda wanted to play Storm. I was like, yo, I've been looking for a Storm movie for 20 years, man. That would be incredible because her story is so rich and deep, and there will be so many elements and dope things that the general public doesn't know about Storm that would be really cool to put in that movie if they did it right. So anyway, that was just my thoughts about it. Anyway, I love to see my sisters on screen, and I think they deserve a lot more screen time than what we've had. We've had a lot of black male actors, not a lot, but a couple black male actors that have had their own solo movies that went on to be super successful, like Blade, Spawn, and the Black Panther were incredible movies that came out to great critical acclaim. And I feel like we could do the same thing with the sisters. You know what I'm saying? Just a thought. But let me know what y'all think down below. Get in the comment section. I'll see you on the next video. You better pull up. Don't do it for me. Do it for the God.